Hey man, he was in my face.
I'm in your face.
Excuse me, you're in a Haslopper area. If you're not Haslopper certified, I need you to leave, please.
Okay.
When a tank is exposed to sustained heat, such as from a fire, the liquid within the tank is forced to boil or vaporize, resulting in increased pressure in the tank. To prevent overstressing the tank, the relief device activates, venting the excess pressure. As pressure decreases in the tank, the valve begins to close. With continued heating, pressure again builds, causing the relief valve to reopen. Where flames impinge on the tank below the liquid level, the liquid absorbs the heat, allowing the tank metal to remain at a safe temperature. With continued relief valve operation, the liquid level drops, exposing a greater area of the tank to the effects of heating. With the flames impinging on the vapor space of the tank, the temperature of the tank metal, uncooled by liquid, rises. At some point, due to the vapor pressure from within, the tank metal begins to weaken, stretch, and eventually tear. As the tank comes apart, large quantities of both liquid and vapor are released in a powerful explosion. The heat radiated is sufficient to ignite combustibles and cause burns great distances from the explosion. Tank sections containing rapidly igniting fuel can become flying missiles, traveling great distances, causing secondary fires and other damage. It all happens quickly and with little warning.
Next up is the accidental rocket that could ruin your next barbecue.
So you're looking excited. What's up?
It's our myth. It's a good one, which kind of reminds me of my childhood.
Okay, hit me.
All right, imagine a garage or a shed is on fire. Inside is a barbecue with a propane tank. It explodes and turns into a rocket, launching 150 feet into the air.
Oh, I've heard of this one. It's very similar to the water heater rocket. The heat causes the pressure inside the tank to build, then there's a catastrophic rupture and sends the tank flying up into the sky.
Wait. This reminds you of your childhood?
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it. My parents are still a little upset.
Like they said, this isn't the first time we've adapted a pressure vessel, or deliberately set one on fire, or even tried to turn a gas tank into a missile. But if this myth is true, catastrophe could be brewing in your own backyard. The story goes that a propane tank once became a rocket. At its perfect trajectory, hit 150 feet.
Look, I gotta say I got my doubts about this.
How so?
Propane tanks, just like all other pressurized vessels, have a pressure relief valve built in. When the pressure gets too high, they simply vent off the excess, thereby averting a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, but what if the fire is so intense that the pressure is building faster inside the tank than the relief valve can dump out?
I suppose it's possible.
Fun day at the bomb range.
Now, for this myth, we need a burning garage with a propane tank inside of it. Now, since no one's gonna let us burn down a garage, we need to build our own, but we don't have time to build a full-size one, so we're gonna make a miniature one. But we're still gonna build it up to code. It's gonna have studs every 16 inches, it's gonna have 3 walls, a driveway, and a roof. Now that should be plenty of material to burn in order to get this garage hot enough to turn this propane tank into a rocket.
So you're probably wondering, how can a propane tank turn into a rocket? Let me paint the picture. You heat up the tank, the pressure inside builds to a high amount. Enough that the tank ruptures somewhere, hopefully in a small pinhole that forms a nozzle. Gas comes shooting out, it catches fire, and all of that causes thrust that launches the tank up into the air like a rocket.
They're hoping this neat little outhouse will eventually burn at a temperature of over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's almost too pretty to put to the torch, but beauty fades fast around here.
It's Tori's Playhouse! And a magic word for the day is explosions.
Here on the show, we like to say that every day's a good day for an explosion, but some days are definitely better than others.
I thought the dangerous part was gonna be the exploding propane tanks.
You all right?
Oh no.
It's hardly a firm foundation, but the guys know that today, the joys of shed ownership will be fleeting. As a rocket launch site, this will soon be a smoking pile of ashes. Shame, really.
Carrie, I really love these colors. They're very hot for fall, you know.
It's one of the hardest things on Mythbusters, and one of the coolest things on Mythbusters is you spend so much time on a beautiful build, and then you just obliterate it in seconds. Woo!
They're now ready to install the stunt barbecue and the star of the show.
Hey, don't forget the propane. Came straight from my garage.
But there's still some fuel to add to the fire.
So this kind of looks like a lot of firewood, right? Well, it is. Because what we want is for this fire to burn long and hot.
So they stack the shed with wood and charcoal, 2 common commodities that should catch fire and raise the temperature.
Now, this fire is gonna get so hot that there is a good chance that this tank is gonna explode.
But we want a rocket. And if the relief valve does its job, this could turn out to be nothing more than a backyard bonfire. Then again, one of the great things about Mythbusters is that we're so often wrong.
Now, all we have to do is set it on fire. Is this thing gonna burn? Oh yeah, it is. Is it gonna explode? It might. Is it gonna turn into a rocket? I hope so.
After a liberal splash of gasoline,
That ought to do it.
the team shows its flair for setting a fire.
All right, you guys ready?
Ready?
Let's torch this thing in 3, 2, 1.
Each passing second feels like 10 as they hightail it back to the bunker.
Flames and fear. Propane powers many of these future homes.
There's 2 tanks in that house, too.
As construction workers warn each other, Zach Gomez with Powered Up Electric pulls out his camera. He captured one of 3 explosions Monday near 195th and West Center. Joe Alcaraz says the electricians who escaped warned him and his team next door just in time.
It's like a mushroom cloud, and it just engulfed that whole house and just took it out, started that house. That house started burning to the ground and started catching the house we were working on fire.
Firefighters had to battle the blaze from outside, fearing more explosions. The developer says most likely there was some sort of leak in the hose connecting the propane tank to the heater. Here at Honeyman Rental, workers say anytime that you have a fuel source inside a structure, there's a potential for problems. Troy Honeyman says before he rents propane, he always tests the hose using a squirt bottle of soapy water.
If you see any kind of bubbling, then that's pretty much saying that there's a leak.
He says you have to be careful with heaters, too. Sometimes they spark. Honeyman recommends keeping propane outside and away from heat, which can cause the propane to expand.
If it's too full, then it can cause the propane to leak.
As for the man behind the camera, Zach Gomez calls this a wake-up call for everyone in construction.
If we had that propane heater and our hose was broke, you know, it could have happened to us as well.
And investigators are still working to determine what caused the fire. The developer says that house is a total loss, but he's just glad no one was hurt. Rob, Brandy, back to you.
Oh, it's going up.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Neo, no one has ever done anything like this.
That's why it's going to work.